Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to be a part of the Altenew March release video hop. I have 2 cards to share with you featuring some fun new dies. First up, I'm going to be showcasing the Zero Waste Berries and Branches die. It's one die, but it sure does create a lot of floral things. I want to make a pretty swag. And then this is the Cherry Blossom Branch layering die set. And I love the Altenew layering die sets. They create gorgeous, effortless blooms. So first I'm going to be using the Zero Waste Berries and Branches die. Like I said, it's one die. So if you wanted to cut it out of white cardstock, add your color to the pieces with ink blending. That would be a fun and easy way. But I wanted to do solid color cardstock. So I ran it through about 4 times with 4 different colors. I think 4. Maybe 5. So it's not exactly zero waste for me, but you could make this zero waste, and you could get like a 2-for-1. You could use the cover die, like the negative space, and then you could also feature the positive. First, I should say, you probably can tell, I'm still getting over a very nasty cold. I've had one for a couple weeks. And now it's evolved into my nose. And so I have a little stuffed up sounding voice, but feeling better. I still have a lingering cough. You know the lingering cough? It's nasty. And it's worse when you lay down in bed at night. I have taken all the things. I've been sucking on Ricolas nonstop. Anywho, moving on. So what do we got here? I think I did 4. 2 different shades of aqua. Kind of a pinky, and then this kind of a mustardy chartreusey. I have a white card base here, and I'm just going to kind of take some of the pieces out. I'm not going to use all the pieces. I'll probably take the rest and put it in a little clear sleeve and save all these, to use for another time. So I'm not really using it properly for the zero waste technique. I think if you wanted to have actually no waste at all, to die cut it out of white cardstock, add your color to the die cut pieces with ink blending, and then you would be able to use the positive and the negative from both die cuts. But since I wanted to use solid color cardstock, I'm going to have a lot of little extra pieces. And there's some little berries here. That's why I die cut this out of that kind of pink cardstock. I'm going to adhere the berries onto the little berry stems. So there's actually a guide on the back of the die packaging that shows you how to layer up, your berries. I'm not really following any directions. There's 2 different ways you can go about doing things. You can follow the directions and do it to the T, and it's very easy step-by-step process. Or you can do like me and just wing it. Just like you go through life. You just wing it. And okay, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm gluing on the berries to the stems. And then I'm just going to create kind of like a little swaggy composition. It's warming up here in Minnesota, and I am so thankful for that. I just need to get over this little cold. I pulled out a very old, but one of my favorites, and most used Altenew stamp sets, the Many Thanks. And I'm going to stamp this kind of solid circular thank you with some black ink. And sometimes I just like a little circular sentiment. It gives it a graphic feel. Now here's an oldie, my 1-inch circle punch. Do you guys still have your circle punches? I have maybe saved 2. I used to have all the punches and all the shapes and all the sizes. I had a whole drawer of punches. And I think I've only saved 2 circle ones that I use. But man, do they ever come in handy. So that was the 1-inch circle punch. You could also just, if you have some nested circle dies, probably have one that's the size that could cut out this thank you perfectly. So I have a white card base, a piece of cream cardstock cut quite a bit smaller because I love that thick white border around the edge. Put a little bit of foam tape behind my sentiment. And then now what I'm doing is just creating a little arrangement. Makes you feel like a florist, even though I really have no idea what I'm doing. And this is, I don't know, would you say it's kind of modern, kind of abstract? We're just going with it. Trying to be somewhat symmetrical, evening out, like whatever color I put on the top right, I want to put the same colors on the bottom, balance. And I'm just winging it here. There's no really right or wrong. If you wanted, you could do a little swaggy swag in 1,000,001 different compositions. I think once you get to this point, you could even make a wreath formation, like a circular. So a lot of different options. I'm going to go with less is more, even though this is kind of like more, but I feel like I'm going to stop here. I don't want to add too much. Another thing I thought about is taking the zero waste die cut it out of some vellum, and then you could add some little vellum leaves, which gives you more bulk, but doesn't introduce any new color. So vellum or metallic cardstocks, those kind of neutrals always add a little fancy schmanciness to your project. So I've got the 2 aquas, that chartreuse green, you got your little berries, which gives you that pop of pink warm tone. You could also use enamel dots for your berries. I thought about adding glossy accents to the berries, but I left them just flat cardstock. Sometimes I have to trim off with the scissors a little bit of the stem so that it fits underneath that thank you sentiment. You got to do a little surgery. So there you have it. Now for a little embellishment, I'm going to add some Altenew enamel dots. I love enamel dots, and I don't know if you've noticed, but Altenew has a ton of colors of enamel dots. I decided last minute to add one more little chartreusey stem right there. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the enamel dots here. It says Citrus Punch on the packaging, but when I looked in the shop, I think it's called Summer Afternoon. I don't know, but I'm just using some yellow enamel dots. Check them out in the shop. There's a ton of different colors. Maybe you have some on hand, and you certainly don't have to use yellow. You could use clear or metallic. White would be great, even maybe black enamel dots, and I'm just kind of scattering them. Sometimes I like to tuck them behind the stems, and just so they kind of intertwine with the composition, but also give you a little bit of an embellishment feel. Okay, so there you have it. Card number 1 is finished, featuring the zero waste berries and branches die, along with the many thanks stamp set. Okay, for card number 2, we're going to use the cherry blossom branch layering die set. And again, for this one, it has a really easy on the back of the packaging walkthrough how to layer these, how to do it. But I'll tell you, I did this just how I did the first card. I didn't really follow any directions. I'm not even using all the dies. I just pulled a few out, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so this first die is the leaves that are on the stem. Also, did I mention for all the die cutting, I used a metal shim. I found I had better luck because these are pretty intricate. Also, I think my magnetic mat might be getting a little bit smushed, a little bit weathered. I might need to get a new one. So metal shims sometimes I need when I'm doing intricate dies. So then I did brown for the branch. And then for the cherry blossoms, I'm just doing 3 shades of pink. You could also do them all out of very pale pink. Add a little ink blending in the center. You could die cut them out of white cardstock. Add your blending with ink. A lot of different options for adding color to your die cuts. This is that keyhole system, which makes it effortless. So I'll show you here in a minute, but all the blooms, all the little petals have a little keyhole, and each one is different. So there's 3 different three different blooms, and you can tell the difference by the keyhole, so you know which petals go together. And it also allows you to easily layer them up. Okay, so I did the 3 different shades for each flower. So I die cut each one 3 times out of the 3 different shades of pink cardstock. Does that make sense? And I'm just going to layer them up. I have way too many die cuts, more than I need, but I just die cut a bunch, got in the zone, and then we'll see what happens. So this weekend, I'm actually leaving today, taking my daughter and our family. We are going down, actually very near Kathy Zilski. It's in St. Paul. My youngest daughter, Emma, is playing in the state, what do you call it, U15 hockey championship bracket. I don't know what you call these things. This is new territory for us. This is her first time being able to play on a girls' team, and they've gone all the way. It's very exciting. They have a very good group of girls. What's nice about her team is that there's not really anybody who's an all-star, but they're all just strong together. So anyway, taking her down, and they start games tomorrow. Tonight's a banquet. They do it up here in Minnesota, okay? They take hockey seriously. So going to a banquet, I had to get her a dress. Oh my goodness. 14 years old, trying to find an age-appropriate dress is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you. Okay, so now here's this little keyhole system. This bloom has kind of a certain shape. You can see it. And it's easy to line up the petals so you know which one. And I don't think it matters what order, which one goes in the back, middle, front. I don't think that matters. You can see here I've got the 3 different shades of pink. So it's pretty stark. I was kind of wishing maybe I just die cut them all out of light pink, added a little bit of ink blending. Because if you look at cherry blossoms, they're very subtle, pale pink, and they kind of get a little bit darker in the center. So if I did this again, I'd probably die cut out of everything out of the light pink and add ink blending. But I was already too far in. I was going to try to make this work. So I've got the 3 different shades. Now this is a different bloom, and it has a different keyhole shape, I believe. I don't know. Maybe I'm working on the same one still. I can't tell. They're teeny tiny little keyholes in the center. But yeah, that is a different bloom. You can tell it's more of a circular bloom. And so yeah, banquet tonight, first game tomorrow. So they play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was going to tell Kathy Zilski, I haven't told her yet. She might want to come. But then I've been getting over this cold. You know how it is. I don't want to see her if I'm sick. I don't want to make her sick, is what I'm trying to say. Anywho, maybe I'll see Kathy Zilski if she'd like to come over. It's probably only going to be 5 minutes from her house to see Emma play a hockey game. Or maybe we can catch a French fry in between games. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited. I haven't been to St. Paul. We're way up north in Minnesota in a very small town. So it's always exciting to go to St. Paul. That's where the Mall of America is. And my daughter Bailey, she's like, I am going to Mall of America because she loves the Gap. Okay, so I pulled out Blush Rose ink. And I'm going to do a little bit. I thought if I did a little bit of blending in the middle with one color, it might kind of unify this flower because it's pretty, I don't know, needed something to kind of unify it with the 3 different shades of solid color cardstock. I went through 2 different blender brushes trying to find the right feel. And I do have the Altenew blender brushes, but I forgot to dig them out. I just grabbed one that was handy here, but I'm using Blush Rose on all 3 of the blooms here, and it does kind of tie it all together. So I definitely recommend, after you glue everything together, go over it once with one shade of pink or red or whatever, and it kind of ties everything together. And then since I blended, I pulled out a little Forest Glades, and I'm going to do a little bit on the base of the leaves. And that'll just kind of tie in that ink blending feel. Sometimes if you do ink blending on one die cut, you should kind of carry that whole ink blending throughout the whole card to make it feel cohesive. Okay, so a little bit of Forest Glades. Leaving this afternoon for the state hockey tournament. My son Charlie, he has to stay home because he just got a new job as, what do you call it, like rink maintenance. He's going to be driving the Zamboni in our rink here in the neighborhood, and he's excited, but he's going to have to take care of Hank. I gave him the rundown last night. I'm like, listen, you got to walk Hank in the morning. Make sure you take a poop bag. Make sure you put him on a leash. Make sure you feed him. Oh my gosh, all the things. I think he can do it. I think he can handle it. And then I got a bunch of food in the fridge for him. Frozen pizza, chicken strips. I found a pack at Aldi. I don't know why I'm rambling on, but it was this pack. It's like fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. It's like a kit. I put that in the fridge. I'm like, Charlie, you can do this. You can do this. We'll see if he does it. Okay, carrying on the same with the white card base cream panel, and I'm going to glue on this large cherry blossom branch. It's kind of hang off. I'll have to trim off the excess. I didn't pop anything up. For the most part, keeping this card flat. And then I'm just going to use, I had way more petals and blooms than I needed. It's just, you can only fit so much on an A2 size card without it feeling cramped. But so I did 3 blooms on this cherry blossom branch. And then, like I said, I didn't really follow the directions with the centers of the blooms. There's more dies that you can add to the centers of the blooms to cover up the keyhole. I didn't do that because I thought I'm going to add enamel dots to the centers of the blooms. So I'm kind of going rogue here. I pulled out a sentiment. This is from that same Many Thanks stamp set. I love the stamp set. It's such a classic. This one says, I appreciate you. And I'm just stamping that with black ink right onto that cream panel. And it kind of nestles perfectly, fits right in there in the branch. And now here I pulled out these same kind of yellow enamel dots. And I'm putting those into the centers of the cherry blossoms. And then I'll add a few little creamy white ones. Maybe this kind of burnt orange here. Just tucking those in here and there for a little embellishment. Not too much, just a little bit, keeping it simple. And there's card number 2 featuring the Cherry Blossom Branch layering die set. And then here's the Zero Waste Berries and Branch. Which one do you like more? I don't know. I think I like the Cherry Blossom. I'm not sure. I like them both. Check out the new March release with Altenew. Also check out in the description. There's a giveaway and a video hop. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.